Oh, hello. Let me turn down this music. Uh, that's much better. Okay. So, for those of you in my Discord, I posted that I had an announcement today. And then I do. In that it is. Sorry, let me get back to that. My big news is I'm trying college one more time. I got accepted to Bellevue University through my work because I have a partnership. Uh, gonna go for computer science. Um, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it will be a more rewarding experience. I'm gonna give it my very best try. Um, but we'll see from there. I filled out my FAFSA. I, you know, did a whole application thing like that. I just got to get set up with a student email and all that. So I am going to be in a computer science program. So we'll be getting a degree. And the reason why that happened is I at work today, I ran into a very, very great best friend of mine from my childhood. And basically he works at a power company, also working on, he's an electrical engineer. That's what he went to school for. But essentially, we started talking about coding and stuff like that, and I was surprised that I was like keeping the conversation and stuff like that. I was like, dang, why don't I have a job? And then he was just like, man, you got to have the degree. I was like, all right. Solidifies it. Then I walked into the back room since it was towards the end of the day, signed up for it through the little program that we have, and then boom. I'm now officially a student in a computer science program. So we're going to keep on going. We'll be at Lowe's for a little bit longer. I feel like it was a sign because like earlier that day I had it mentally, I was like, all right, 3 to 6 months. I'm still going to keep working on my code and the projects and stuff like that. But I was like 3 to 6 months, I'm out. Regardless of the projects, I'll find something else. And luckily there's somebody looking out for me and telling me, hey, go get that paper in the form of degree. So that's what I'm going to go do. But we can still practice because, as we all know, computer science programs are usually outdated. So I still want to keep up with modern tech and modern tech stacks and stuff like that. So with that being said, let us continue into development of nectarine and grapevine. And maybe start... and we're going to start sugar. I forgot to tell you that. Sugar is going to be my visual application development environment for... Basically, it's going to be low code to no code environments. Think of Unreal Engine blueprints, where you have the drag and drop, but you can still enter parameters and stuff like that, but it's all visual based. It'll have that. It'll have a node-based editor. We're going to call them sugar cubes. And then we also have the basic what you know in every web design or web template building program. You have the drag and drop editor where you can drag components from a bank and create a web page. We're going to try to figure out how to take it a step further and try to include dynamic data creation and database creation in that. So we'll start the boilerplate of sugar, which, I'm thinking like with Kiwi Engine, where we want it to be a comprehensive app engine, similar to Unreal Engine, but more of like business apps. Think like, I say business apps, like non-gaming or graphics intensive apps. Maybe, I don't know. You can do whatever. Honestly, we could, but we're going to start with like your run-of-the-mill applications. Like it could be a mobile application. It could be a web application. It could be a cloud application. Like any array of application, but that's just not a game, essentially. But we're going to take all these frameworks and make like it's like taking building modules in Flutter or React Native or views in React Native and stuff like that, and pre-building them to where all you have to do is put these parts together. This is what that is. It's almost like a web dev template. It's like, yeah, anybody can go in there and just, yeah, I can code my own container, blah blah blah. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. We're just gonna screw around with that idea, see if it's viable, especially with mobile frameworks, But we're definitely gonna try and incorporate frameworks or templates that use different frameworks. Like I have from the previous stream, we were going with the pharmacy theme. Like we have a pharmacy theme that has React, TypeScript, Vue, Angular, regular HTML5, CSS, and JavaScript and stuff like that. Or depending on your stack or your preference, you have an option. So with that, we have to also think about hey, do we want Sugar to be a desktop application, or do we want it in the browser, or do we want an instance of Sugar to have a client application, a client-side application, or do we want if you're building something, we have a Sugar web version? I'm thinking it'll be a client, so we'll do Electron, right? And that'll be a Kiwi engine module. Just have it, and we don't. Go ahead and initiate a project. Yarn add Electron. They did. We're just waiting on Electron. And then I wanted to ask, Nectarine. Grapevine. This is an IAC library that includes bash scripts, Docker files, Docker Compose, pigs, cloud formation template. What is a good start? Build this library. What should I looking to incorporate, since I am going to other libraries such as my Nectarine? Says define. Oh, just let me pull it over into the window. Doy. Says building infrastructure as code library that includes bash script, Docker files, Docker Compose configs, and cloud formation templates requires a structured and modular approach. We've been doing that this whole time, guys. Since you'll be incorporating your Nectarine library and possibly other tools, you need a foundation that makes managing infrastructure deployments easier while keeping configurations dry, don't repeat yourself, reusable, and scalable. Would this library fit a need or is something that is wanted slash needed on the market? Integrating Nectarine allow. Yep. See, you remembered. So this is where I need to like brainstorm and figure out like, yes, we can. That's the base functionalities we've discovered so far, but how can they work with other tools? Yeah, you can use them. Like, but let's see two libraries work together. Essentially, is what I'm trying to figure out. Where's YAML config defined? Oh, they're just defining a function. Then we have version control. Why this library has market potential. There's a high demand for tools that simplify infrastructure automation, especially in these key areas. Modular infrastructure automation. Many companies rely on IAC frameworks like Terraform, CloudFormation, and Ansible, but often need custom automation scripts to handle edge cases. A library that modularizes common infrastructure components, virtual private clouds, databases, elastic container services, etc., into reusable, ready-to-go configurations could significantly reduce setup time. I agree. You don't have to tell me, ChatGPT. YAML-driven declarative infrastructure as code. Nectarine's approach, structured YAML queries generating infrastructure, is highly marketable. Well, technically, we're using Grapevine and Nectarine together in order to do this, in order to make this happen. And companies often struggle with managing infrastructure configuration drift. A library that enforces configuration consistency via a structured YAML system is valuable. Docker first IAC. While Terraform and CloudFormation are common, but not many IAC frameworks are designed around containerized environments from the start. A library that streamlines Docker deployments with automation scripts setting up a full stack with a single command could appeal to microservices teams. Simplify multi-cloud deployments. Many businesses are moving toward multi-cloud and hybrid deployments, but most infrastructure as code solutions are deeply tied to AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. A modular cloud-agnostic approach with YAML for abstraction could attract startups, small businesses, and DevOps teams who need flexibility. That's why we're incorporating Linode and DigitalOcean. Cost-effective cloud solutions that aren't tied to the big tech companies, or at least the big three in my eyes. Who would benefit from this? Startups, DevOps engineers, indie game devs, and SaaS developers developing lightweight Dockerized backends without Terraform complexity. Cloud-native businesses, IT departments, and enterprises. So we got a broad scope of people can use these libraries, which is good. Market competition differentiation, Terraform, AWS CloudFormation. Well, we're including most of these like in our configurations. It's not like we are being separate. We're including all of these, just streamlining the process, so to speak. How I differentiate. Simpler YAML-driven approach with Nectarine, easier for beginners. Nectarine Cloud. Nectarine could simplify CloudFormation templates dynamically. YAML-driven declarative style is easier to learn. I don't even know what Pulumi is. Focused on provisioning, not just config management. And then Docker Compose bridges Docker Compose with full IAC for production use. So Nectarine-powered YAML approach simplifies infrastructure generation. Docker-first mindset instead of treating containers as an afterthought. Let's say, remember, Nectarine is a completely different library that also uses YAML for APIs and database schemas. It would work well with Grapevine, but not necessarily tied to each other, so to speak. Do I make sense? Because I don't know if I make sense. Hey man, how's it going? What's up, bald head? Smooth. I've been working with Godot lately. Have you ever checked it out? Yes. If I wasn't dealing with like the freeze that we have in Florida right now, I was blowing out pipes when I got off work. So my time was kind of cut short a little bit. Miss Lady, what are we doing? Oh. So I was going to do an hour in Godot and then an hour with the full stack stuff since I was in the Pirate Software Game Jam, but I needed to work on a little bit of full stack coding today. So where are you working with in Godot? New project, current, like, or a project you've been working on for a while? 2D, 3D? I would like to open source my stuff. The IAC library is Grapevine. So this is how I use ChatGPT, is I just ask it ideas of like bigger picture stuff and not like, so like, hey, write this code for me. And then if it has anything to do with code, I'll be like, hey, give me a training program of doing this, blah, blah, blah. Like, just don't give me code kind of thing. Work on a 2D platformer a few weeks in. Haven't been able to find a software job, so I've just been focused on game dev really. Hey, dude, I'm right there with you. Like, just at the beginning of the stream, like, I basically announced I was going back to school for computer science or whatever. Because I tried last year, but I had bad experiences with the university that I was at. So I decided to, hey, maybe it's not for me. But then all signs pointed to, hey, get a degree. So while I'm getting this degree and like trying to, you know, find my place in the world of finding a job kind of thing, I was like, hey, train doesn't stop here. We'll just keep going. Let's create fun things that, you know, may have their own potential to be their own things, whether it be a game or a library or what have you, being a freelancer or yada yada. Oh, right on. I appreciate it. I try to keep positive mindset. Honestly, because honestly, if you have a bad mindset, man, that's just a easy way to get bogged down. And it's almost like with a positive mindset, you can take like almost half steps forward. But if you have like the worst mindset in the world, you can take 30 steps backward. Like negative energy almost has more power than like positive energy when you're at a certain when you're at the low point of something on the come up. since you're so low, it's like gravity's there. But once you hit this inflection point, it no longer has a hold on you. And we're just gonna, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, and just keep going. So, and I encourage anybody to do that. So like, don't ever stay idle. Like how you're doing. It's like, well, until something happens, like I'm gonna keep making something and just focus on bettering a skill that I want to better myself at. You know what I mean? There's more people that would go home and be like, think that, but then go home and watch Netflix for 35 hours. So yeah, man, like, you know what I mean? Because it's so easy. It's like, it's easier being lazy than going to the gym. It's easy to not do your laundry and do the small things. They're always like small rewards, but small rewards added up over time pays huge dividends, man. I mean, I'm not like a poster boy of success yet, but I could be a poster boy of like positive, like just keep doing it, man. Just like, I don't want a redneckerism to come in, but it's boiling up. I'm trying to keep it down. It's like once you're in the thick of it, man, you just gotta keep sloshing through it. It's like walking through mud. Dang it, here it comes. It's like walking through mud, man. It's like when you're walking through mud in boots or any type of shoe, and you get sucked down. It's just like, don't let the little things just keep you there. It's like, it's just a shoe. If you lose a shoe to the suction of the mud, like that's just part of the mud's deal. It's trying to keep your attention anyway from just stopping, so you can get your entire body stuck. So just keep moving forward. If you lose a shoe, you lose a shoe, and the shoe could be representative of anything. If you lose a shoe, you lose a shoe. It came off. It wasn't that important to you. Just keep going through until you hit solid land. And that is my positive riff of the day. But we're trying to work on fleshing out these 2 libraries I was working on. What I call Nectarine and Grapevine. I'm very food-based and fruit-based. You'll come to see that with the Kiwi engine and my CSS library Juice. So Grapevine is the IAC library, as we already saw. While it could work well with Nectarine, it remains a separate project. Correct. That means Grapevine's primary focus is on infrastructure automation using bash scripts. Also, are you really good with UI stuff with Godot? And I say really good. Are you better than me, which is obviously? Because my game jam that I was going to do was like a terminal-based game, like a fake terminal almost. And I'm just really finding the node system for a UI kind of troubling. But if not, it's all good. But if you have any information, there's the Discord if you want to share any tips, man. If you have your Discord, blah, blah, blah. Hey, dude. I just figured out what a margin container was last night. So we all got to start somewhere, right? I mean, I know like what text, like the rich text labels are, and like buttons and like basic control things. But like the way stuff is laid out is like blowing my mind. So I come from like a Unreal and Unity where it's more like, I want to say straightforward. Like I haven't fleshed out a full project in any game engine. I just gotten to a point where I'm like, all right, cool. I'm on this flow. I've got this good rhythm going, and then a huge like connection of like, hey, like my trivia game in Unity was like, okay, how do I correctly change the screen per each question dynamically without creating 50,000 scenes, so to speak. Yeah, dude, nobody was like, it's more rare to have people like, you know, how Elton John, those types of people where like from a young age, they're just like, they hear like whatever their skill set is, they just look at it or hear it or see it or taste it, and they're like, oh, I know what that's made of, or I know what those notes are, then blah, 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 blah. I envy those people. Like some people, like I'm not trying to toot my own horn, like I do have skills where I've worked on them every day, after school, after football practice, after baseball practice, after all the stuff, like with like guitar. Like I'm not like a virtuoso of any means, but like I can pick up literally any like stringed instrument and just do my thing. Not because I'm a great gifted artist from the gods. It's because I put in at least 2 hours of practice a day for the past 24 years of my life. And by practice, I mean playing for 2 hours, whether it be a song that I knew, learning something new, like our new song. Like I'm always doing something with a guitar. Like there's 2 guitars behind me right here at all times. It's like the same thing with coding or game dev. Like you have to practice at these things to get better, right? Nobody's a gifted, I was born knowing JavaScript, because it wasn't invented until certain times. I was born knowing Rust. I knew Rust was going to be invented when I was 10 years old. I wrote a paper on it. More often than not, people have to practice or learn or go through a process to get where they're at. Dude, even Kobe Bryant had to learn how to dribble a basketball at some point. At some point. May he rest in peace. So, would you like help outlining a roadmap for... No, well, for now, let's brainstorm how this library can be most effective. It can be just a collection of different scripts, configs, and templates, but I want it to be more than that. It sounds like I'm writing a letter. Yours truly, Dinkle. Because I feel like when I'm streaming and I'm reading these out loud, it's like doing those like, my dearly beloved. All right, Stinkle. That's awesome. All right, Stinkle, let's make Grapevine more than just another IA script collection, and let's make it a structured, powerful, developer-friendly. Don't give me code. A structured modular system instead of just static files, right? So if we looked at Nectarine, right? Let's go into change Kiwi Nectarine. Because I don't know if you've caught a stream bald. Actually, I'm going to call you Smooth. Oh, bald, Smooth. Let's change into API. What's this? And then we'll go into query user. Change the word. Query user is what I did. Okay. And then let's open up user.yaml. So this is basically the user.yaml file. What I was talking with ChatGPT about was essentially I broke down SQL statements into almost like hooked on phonics style like terms, so to speak. So like you almost have like a verb, noun, adverb, so to speak. So they're broken down into these different parts. So you could do things like this. Right, so you have these, you load in the config file right there. It gets, and that is a special function I wrote that parses the YAML file and turns it into the JavaScript object that you can load into here, destructure it into different variables. So that way you can piece almost like a sentence together. So if one part of it changes, so like say if you're trying to get a user by age, right? And you need to change that age, well, guess what? You do it within your JavaScript or your code based on that statement, because in the config file over here to the left, if you get user by age, in the config file, it already has a dynamic value in it. So that prevents any like SQL injection. That's a huge security risk mitigated. And the same thing here, we're using environment variables, so that way we are not hard coding any use security credential, whether it be a SALT security key, an OAuth key, any of those things, database information. You got to keep those safe. So this is a way to logically, modularly, and easily readable way of crafting backends, APIs, and stuff like that. Because not only do we have stuff for generating SQLs, if you see, we have the user API. Quit trying to change directory, Stinko. User API. We already pre-crafted an API endpoints that are commonly used here, but you can also change up your config file. If you pull it in here, you just change this config file to add more fields that you need for your project, right? Easily extendable, easily maintainable, and it's a single source of truth. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah. So Nitro Citrus will essentially be like the game dev side. I kind of wanted myself to be like just this to be web dev, and then I'll just do games over there. Strictly. I don't know what I want, man, but Nitro Citrus is the culmination of all like the projects and stuff like that. But I appreciate the follow, man. Like one day I will transfer or dual stream to both of them, because like I'll use content for both. You know what I mean? It's just the brand, baby. It's the brand. Because it's two words that have the letters IT in it. And I like citrus fruit. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Lemons, oranges, limes. Get out of here. My two favorite desserts. I know it's going to be hard to guess. Key lime pie, lemon meringue, then orange cheesecake. You got to support the brand. But yeah, man. Don't I follow you already? If I don't, I'm an idiot. I thought I followed you. I sincerely apologize. Because I recognized your name, and I thought I was following you. That's so uncordial. Get it together, Stig. But do you do software dev, or trying to do software dev as a job? Like systems programming, or embedded, or web dev, mobile dev, DevOps, sysadmin, cloud architecture? What fits your or are you a game developer, both professionally and like hobbyist? Because that would be freaking sweet. Because I want to be. It's like once I get a tech job, it's like I'm not going to stop doing tech. Hopefully, when I get a tech job, I'm going to move to another piece of tech. Like I really want to get into electronics. There's this library. Like I'm already not getting focused. I got 25 minutes. If I can just start some of these projects, man, that's all I need. And this is another project that I'm just going to get started. It's a visual app building tool. Think of like an Unreal Engine, but it's for like regular applications that aren't like graphics intensive. When I say that, it's like non-gamey games. It needs to go into main.js, right? So we need a new item main.js, and then we need to vim into the package JSON because it automatically gives index.js, and we want to change that to main. And I'm getting better at the vim stuff. Hey, appreciate you stopping by, man. You have a great rest of your night. Been trying, but everywhere wants to experience, but I can't get any without someone taking a chance. Hey, if you're still around, dude, pull any of my stuff from my GitHub link in my profile. Like, pull any of my projects, man. Like, I'm trying to keep them open source, nothing privatized, so you can pull whatever you want, work with it. I got stuff for front end, I got stuff for back end, I got stuff for systems programming, I got stuff for mobile programming. I like to touch on a lot of things, so whenever you want to, man, just get into the Discord. Be like, hey, what you got for me? Like, hey, I got this project we can work on together. Because that's basically what I'm doing, is getting the experience for my portfolio and my resume. Is essentially what I'm trying to do, and I'm using streaming to keep me more dedicated to it. And the more people we can get together and create these great tools, we can use these things on our profiles. You know what I mean? Because the tool will flesh out itself once we have more hands on it, man. Many hands make light work, right? Or at least that's the gig. If I can remember correctly, once we insert, we import. It's const browser window and path, I think, equals require electron. And that's as far as I go. I was doing... Oh, it was for chatbot. That's right. Let me... Let's look at this one. App, not path. But again, Bald Man, I really appreciate you stopping by. It really means a lot, and I appreciate you following Nitro. We're gonna build the brand, babes. Okay, so it had. That's where the path was. Equals require. Node. One day I'm gonna learn how to type. And then it was create window. Function create window. Then it's const when equals new window. Height 500. Width 800. Then there was some type of callback function or function web preference. Web preference. Which is also preload. Path.join. Your name. I should know this. It's called a preload. Then it's when.load file index.html. Damn it. That, I think. App when ready. If Windows something something. Oh. Oops. Then that's when we call the function. That's where the anonymous function gets called. And I need to recognize recognize. I need to memorize and get better at these. Create window. Up on activate. Another function. Of course. Anonymous function here. If browser length equal to 0, create window. An app. Oh no. App on window all closed. If process something. Process dot platform. I knew it. That has something to do with the process. Process dot platform not equal to Darwin. Like app dot quit. Boom. So that in theory gosh. What do you mean it's being used by another process? Oh my gosh. What have I done? What have I done? each HTML file correctly. Let's declare. Just so we can add a title. Then we add our body. Then let's add header. Call it heading of. Let's load that up, and it does load it correctly. Cool. What was I going to show? I don't remember what I was going to show. Because I got distracted. Oh, I was going to show my game, but that's for another time. And I've already referenced the chatbot code. All right. So now we have a little bit of working parts. We want to work with Grapevine a little bit more because we need to get better at writing Docker Compose config files and Docker files, Bash scripts, PowerShell scripts. You know, we want to create like a whole bunch of utility libraries that can be used for a lot of things. It could be sysadmin stuff, and as well as DevOps stuff, especially like development stuff like full stack web development, and we're going to get into native programming here. So let's go back and reference GPT real quick. Yeah, also need to get better at CLI tool creation. See, that would be cool. I guess Grapevine would be the CLI tool. Nectar. See, I'm already thinking about, like, you know, if this library has this CLI tool, and this library has this CLI tool, and this library has this CLI tool. It's like, that's why I wanted Kiwi Engine to be a cohesive unit to where it's only one CLI tool. You know what I mean? To where the Citrus CLI can, like, it'll be Citrus or like Citrus Grapevine Blueprint. You know what I mean? Or each library could have its own tool. I don't know. We'll probably ask ChatGPT. And this is more so like a brainstorm session than a coding session, I guess. Because I'm kind of tired from work. And then going out, kind of doing a little things outside, like helping blowing pipes, bringing horses and stuff like that. I wasn't too much help today, but, you know, I was still out there in the cold. I was tired. Grapevine should be more than just some scripts and templates. It should be a developer-friendly, modular, extendable infrastructure framework that uses YAML-driven declarative configs, offers a CLI for automation, provides pre-built blueprints for common infrastructure setups, supports multi-cloud deployment, and auto-generates documentation and control continuous integration, continuous deployment pipelines. Do you like this direction? I do. I do like this direction. this fits with what Kiwi Engine is all about. Yes, please. So while it gets working on that, generating some ideas for me to kind of guide the path of this full stack journey, let's kind of build up sugar, because we're never going to want cubes. Oh, sorry. I think I want these things to be because you want the cubes function are like different things. We'll figure it out. Those are just the base directories like to build off from. We're not even grapevine yet. Tinkle, what are you doing? Because then we could kind of give you an insight of where grapevine is at right now. Let's look at I guess I was thinking about Grapevine being an API, but like Nectarine is kind of filling that role. Let's vim into that. Oh, I didn't finish it. Also not finished. But you see where we're going with this. Like you have bash scripts, CloudFormation templates. Let's see if I have anything in bash. Oh, sweet. We do have a set up server. So right here, we do have a script set up where it's like this sets up the server environment for Kiwi Engine. This sets up 2 EC2 instances. So, yeah. You would run this script inside the terminal and just provide these first 3 in order. You would have to go key, security group, subnet ID, and it already has the major part of the code already. So it's like they'll have different variations of scripts like that. You know what I mean? And we'll come up with different variations and contexts and, you know, have fun with it. Like this basic this sets up a Docker environment, but also adds certbot so you can generate your own SSL certificates using Let's Encrypt. You know, different automation scripts to kind of help with deployment and stuff like that with developers that may not be so system savvy or, you know, things like that. Just make it easier on people, so to speak. Yep, it's that time, people. Stinkle is going to go to bed, or at least wind down for bed. Got a long day of work tomorrow. Baldhead, appreciate you stopping by and saying what's up. Thank you for following the Nitro Citrus channel again. I do appreciate it. All that have stopped by. Thank you for anybody who's joined the Discord channel. Remember, I do have the links to not just the link to the the Juice GitHub is in my Twitch profile, but there's more repositories out there. in the CitrixWorks repository. So poke around, pull some things, have some fun with it. Because like I said, the journey is going to be to open source all of this stuff. Like, I think it's already open source now. So have fun with it, build something cool, and let's create something awesome together. I'm going to call it here. I'm going to get back on tonight roughly around the same hopefully earlier. Instead of right before 7, I'm going to try to jump on at 6 o'clock sharp. Super try. But again, it's going to be the worst night throughout the week, I think, for temperature. It's supposed to get down like 14 or something like that. But I'm talking as a guy from Florida. There's probably cities more north of here that are having a worse time and having snow and actual freezing problems. But I'm a Floridian. I've never had to deal with this before. So it's kind of like whenever like New York gets hurricanes, it's like, yes, we can get it, but we don't, and we don't know how to deal with it. So if you have any tips on the cold and how to deal with it, please let me know. But until then, stay warm, stay bundled up, drink some hot cocoa, have some cinnamon toast, hug your loved ones, tell somebody you love them, be a good person, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.